Keep going. One more.
Leo's not here. He would know more things to say. He's younger than me.
Time to take the field.
All right. Into the draft we go. Game number 2, a fast finish for Fnatic Onyx for game number 1. How does TLID respond here?
They don't invade in the first 2 minutes. You know, that's for me. That's about it. I don't think there is. Again, I like what LaFell said, where you could add a bit more poke. The marksman mage being on different lines maybe is an effect, but we didn't really even get to see that in effect, right? We didn't even really get to see the big problems, any big cracks in either draft, because it just snowballed out of control so fast.
Yeah, we are seeing the glue taken off the board for the side of Fnatic Onyx, the Fanny as well. Now, jungler-wise, we got to see the alpha on the side of Fnatic Onyx into the hands of King Kong. Normally we get to see him on something a little bit more aggressive like that Suyo or that Joy. Speaking of Joy, the beat of the Flash will not be beating today as it's banned out by TLID.
So Granger ban?
That would follow last matches, right?
Yep.
Taking out the Granger here. If they don't,
Jushin will be open.
I mean, I feel like if you're FNOP, yeah, you keep things exactly the same. You don't change much. You feel comfortable. There'd be no reason to, right?
No, and it should be a Suyo for the taking for the side of TLID if they do want to go that route. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. The Mathilda, we saw, didn't really get to see a hot take on that from TLID in the last game, but it really was that one decision in the beginning that snowballed out of control.
FNOP's the one to change things up. They just decide, you know, they're like, yeah, we're going to change things up.
What are the chances of a first pick Granger? What are the chances?
High.
No, here's the thing. I know what TLID is thinking. Let FNOP get Granger. You know what they will get?
What?
Ling.
Okay. Last,
Hey.
I'm not on board. I'm not on board.
Fabian, man.
I'm not on board.
Fabian's Ling. Something else. Something different.
You thinking an ENG Ling?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's what they like. No, we're digressing now at that point. They take the Suyo. They're going to give Kelra the Granger. But honestly, FNOP hasn't been known. They don't really rush the marksman pick ever, honestly. They're very comfortable with like, Granger's open, yeah, whatever. Like,
I'll fight it with the
pick
lead.
Something else. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but now the Cho is up for the grabs for FNOP and could be a wise decision. They do want to pick that up here. You are going to go ahead and see
Never mind.
from Brusco. And there goes Kelra on the Granger.
Granger's kind of good. Let's pick it up. And then they'll pick up the Eve as well as the Hilda. Now, will this Hilda invade after 2 minutes? Maybe 2 minutes and a half. Maybe
Hopefully.
after the turtle. After the turtle.
Or just leave it in the XP lane, you know? Put it in the XP lane.
As long as they're not going up against something like a CC, I guess it's fine.
This will be interesting. Technically, the Mathilda could be picked up here from FNOP as well. I mean, it would showcase, it would kind of put your cards up front though, so maybe not the decision they want to go, but it could be an answer, especially with that Eve on the other side of the board. So right now, yeah, I definitely don't think the move is the invasion before 2 minutes. I think playing a little bit more standardized, taking a safer approach should be the method from TLID for game number 2.
I'm just still on. My big thing is like, why did Coach Why not?
Fredrin.
Fredrin pick finally.
This means that this is going to be a Kelra game, by the way.
But why such a hard change on FNOP, right?
Because
why not?
No, because Kelra wants 20 kills.
Oh,
think about that.
I get it.
Think about that.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Yeah. I asked their coach.
Oh, you just
why is he changing everything up?
If you guys can't tell, I'm pretty disappointed, but it's whatever. It's whatever.
Harris banned on the side of Coach Why Not. St. DeLucas bans out the Matilda. So you said it's a Kelra game.
Yep.
It's all on Kelra.
I mean, like if you have a jungler like the Fredrin, it's really about setting up for your either mid laner or a gold laner. Because so far we've seen Fredrin pick up when you have a Bruno, maybe even a Sicilian, right? So we do have to see. It's very often that you have two carries whenever you're picking up Fredrin. So yeah, the mid lane could be a carry as well.
Now we got to see what's going to be put in the gold lane for TLID. Taking that Moskov off the table. You already got the Granger into the hands of Kelra. Maybe the Beatrix may slip up in here, or possibly even the Natan for survivability, especially having Bruce go on this Cho. We know he likes to dive. We know he likes to play very aggressive, especially from game number 1.
I'm excited to see how this Fred goes up against the Suyo. And again, there's always the possibility too that this Fred could get swapped over to EXP lane. We did see it a little bit yesterday. That is not completely out of the book at all.
The priestess of primal lightning is the hunter of
And I
all
guess
the evil
Fredrin actually
gods.
does do quite well against the Hilda. Not really like winning it out, but more like keeping the Hilda in lane.
Yeah.
Not allowing the Hilda to roam around.
And it's going to help out in when you get into those big fights. It's still going to supply the same thing that a jungle Fred would supply in terms of zoning, in terms of taunting, being able to maybe slow down the Suyo just a little bit during that Lord Pit fight by Kelra, a couple extra shots in. But now we're back to picks. FNOP on the gun right now. Mid laner.
Your team is picking.
There goes. I was going to say the Farza. So they're going to C range and Dill range. It's going to match this Eve's momentum. So a lot of artillery on the board for both sides as we are going to be getting ready for this game. And one final pick for the side of FNOP. Now, looking at TLID, you have the Hilda, right? You can get to the back line. You have the control from the RWM. And you have a pretty decent jungler with the Suyo. What are we thinking in the gold lane?
I'm worried because Beatrix and Natan are the ones you want to fight against the Granger, but then Farsa closes it up, right? Like, even if you try to fight range with the Granger, you're going to have to deal with the Farsa, and that makes it very difficult. Going up against Farsa, you kind of want to use picks like the Claude, but we've seen Claude's damage is really not enough.
1-1 here.
Even
maybe.
1-1 honestly is
With the
quite
range.
dangerous against Farsa.
Iridel?
Most marksmen.
Every marksman has trouble against Farsa.
Iridel is good though. Iridel is good though.
I literally invented
Oh, there's the chip though.
I mean, like I said, the Claude, so far, Claude hasn't been really doing a lot of damage.
That's a wild card pick, the chip. You know, at any point it could turn everything around, right? It's one of those picks that can be a game saver, you know?
It gives them the element of surprise for TLID, which can definitely be something they can lean in on.
Oh! It's a good thing Gideon isn't here. Gideon does not like Uranus.
Oh!
Eterna's happy right now.
Eterna's
she's happy.
happy.
She's
cheering.
dancing in the Talon room.
Oh, she's backflipping.
Oh, man.
You know what? Let's backflip over to the caster desk in 1, 2, 3. Hiya!
That is the 77th unique hero in M6. Calling in for game number 2 in this best of 5. Leon Mirko at your service. Is this not one of those responses that came out of Team Indonesia when they played at IESF WEC 24 this year?
Yeah, we've seen the Uranus before as well, but hey, man. Yeah, we're lucky Gideon's not here. He'd be mauling at this Uranus pick. The chip, though, and the Claude, we've seen the Claude. We've seen the chip here, Leo. The Claude on the hands of King Skylar. Against the Granger and Farsa, this is the same combination, and it did not work.
It's a very interesting approach to drafting. Rarely do we see Shane De Lucas give his players, Haze Hugger, give their players this kind of lineup that ends up with so much utility, but the wrong kind of damage profile. I think you're right. TLID might just call in for shortcuts, and then the job just wouldn't be done.
To be fair, though, if we're talking about the shortcut and the chip, if there's one roamer in Indonesia I trust with the chip, it has to be Witty the Wise.
That's because this is what we call a witty party, right? Ain't no party like a witty party.
Ain't no party like a witty party.
But think about this. The only real good targets are if some way, somehow, Witty the Wise finds Kelra or Frinz. Any other would be a non-starter.
Yeah, it would definitely be very difficult. You can already see here early on, at least a bit of difference. TLID, like LaFell said, not invading in the first 2 minutes, respecting it for now. They know how hard it is for a friend. Oh, what happened there, Yeskio? It looked like he was winning out the trade, and then now, I guess Super Friends got a combo in. Up top, though, this matchup, Uranus versus Hilda. How does that work?
The Uranus wins about 9 out of 10 times. Like, he just stands there and forces the Hilda back underneath their turret or like back into a bush, and then you just get stacked so that Ionic Edge on. No, Weedy's in trouble.
Revitalize. Here's the Bracer's Wrath! King Kong with a big bonk!
Nowhere to go for Witty but down. He did click his Revitalize, and now Kirk, same story.
Revitalize already used up by Kirk as well. This time though, there's Brusco to help him. Aran walking forward. Uh-oh. King Kong walking in. Revitalize here. Luckily, no bonk from King Kong. So Aran can get away, but still, it's a win for FNOP early on.
Great use of the energy eruption. A lot of frontliners for Team Liquid ID, but now the story still, I'm worried about them is their damage profile. Oh, the damage from King Kong's returns. 2v2. That's a tough party to start. Now comes Witty.
Okay, he has killed two. King Kong gonna be very low. Great Jikundo. RWM onto King Kong. That's a kill back. Feather airstrike used up by Super Prince. Gotta respect it as Rod walks in forward. Over to Brusco. Kirk walking up as well. Witty with the Crash Corso. Power Wilderness from Maran. Now Super Prince not caught in the stun. It is the cruise damage. Almost taking him down.
Kirk here in the middle of the crossfire. 4v1. Gets out of there. And I think this is just Liquid ID securing the turtle. Rough start, but eventually the cavalry does get chugging along.
The Brawl server does what the Brawl server wants. It's brawling up in here. A lot of the early fights happening earlier. Getting a 1,000 gold lead, so already a different story. But for FNOP, as long as Kelra and Prince stay untouched, it should still be A-okay.
And that is currently what Team Liquid ID might be trying to fix.
Yep.
They put a lot of pressure on the Kirk, not having any of it. A lot of pressure on King Kong. He's a utility jungler. He's used to this. He's supposed to be doing this. What can Liquid ID do to put some pressure on the gold standard? How can they force Super Prince to pop the Feathered Airstrike early to make that a less than ideal approach into Witty's crash course into the shortcut? Because we haven't really seen it. He turned level 4 like 30 seconds, a minute ago. Here's a start.
Brusco trying to catch Aaron Chiki. He has the BMI defensively placed back very far away, so he's always able to tap that. But you can see FNOP are playing it well, man. Every single time TLID force something out, there's always a great response over. And that 1,000 gold lead is gone. Brusco, Jikundo, Wade the Dragon. Witty with the Revitalize, Aaron Chiki with the Blazing Duet.
And now Witty looking to start it up. Not gonna happen. No shortcut coming through. Eventually, the delayed approach. Kirk comes through with a Revitalize of its own. Aran in trouble.
Isolated, Revitalize, big bonk! Coming down, Aran still able to survive in the bush. RWM over to Kirk now. He's gonna be taken very low. BMI forward. A Purify out with a Feather Airstrike. Aaron Chiki BMIing again to safety. And it becomes, what, a 1-for-1 in the end?
The circle to the square. We're at the point where in early game, damage profiles for both aren't there quite yet. So it's the early game chunkiness of Team Liquid and Fnatic Onyx's lack of items just yet that's making these fights lead to nothing. Trades that have no real openings, no conversions. 300 gold, that's where we found Team Liquid ID when this fight started. Now they're looking for a play. Weedy here in control of the River Brush.
Way the Dragon, over. Burst out, Feathered Airstrike, no shortcut. He gets slain before he can even place it down. Wait, it's still on cooldown anyways. Fabian able to get the XP grab, one level ahead of King Kong.
Man advantage for the Super Fam. 3v4. Current numbers don't favor the cavalry. Look at Fabian. Oh, putting Kirk down to a tenth of his health.
Fabian wants to go in. Great taunt over from King Kong. Fabian goes in, but King Kong wins out the retreat battle. Brusco comes in with Jikundo, able to lock him up into the Appraiser's Wrath. King Kong with another bonk on Fabian. Shortcut to
Here we go.
Aaron Chiki coming down, Blazing Duets.
The Weedy party leads to the beast getting slain. Now they send Fnatic on attacking.
Way of the Dragon over to Aaron Chiki to Revitalize. Doesn't help him enough. Kirk spins around and gets the kill. Now it's Witty. Next to the chopping block. Super Prince getting that kill.
They got oiled up for nothing. Slipped on their own plans. Fnatic Onyx PH punishing Team Liquid ID for brawling too hard.
Too much brawl, and FNOP know exactly how to deal with it. They can play the brawl game themselves, it seems. Kelra up top. That's an SP. That's a Sky Piercer for Kelra.
That's a go signal for Fnatic Onyx to turn it up a notch. Just one gear. Maybe just one gear. They've had it with these fights not leading to much. They've had it with Aran running away. It starts here now, 6 minutes in. King Kong locking in the Thunderbelt. Something tells me that also is a clear sign from Fnatic Onyx that they want to go faster. They want to have King Kong not even just bonking dudes, just coming in, zoning, hit, and then keep going that way. And it'll make Aran think twice about just checking bushes like that.
Definitely. You can again see for FNOP, it's all about suffocating TLID now, right? That they have the gold lead, they have King Kong where they want them. It kind of comes down to, again, Super Friends and Kelra. They already have so much gold. That's a Sky Piercer and a Hunter Strike for Kelra. Cooldown boots too. So wants to get as many Rhapsodies. Actually, is it for the dash? Is it just for the dash? It has to be cooldown,
For
right?
the dash and just even the
Rhapsody?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's just full on procs from Kelra. What I'm impressed with is Super Friends' choice of boots. It's penetration boots.
Yeah.
So that means these early fights, they're gonna favor those to push forward their advantage. Look at this, Aaron Shiki, outranged.
Glass cannon for Super Friends, but oh, bottom lane. Whoa, Kelra gets picked off. A great shortcut from the mid lane, from up top, and now they go back in. They're gonna try to go for the turtle. King Kong's already on it. Witty wants to go for the crash course, gets taunted up. King Kong's still on it.
The beast is outnumbered, circled in by 4 young stallions. Can he take this?
Kirk is going on to Fabian. That's a severed soul. Fabian wins out the retreat battle. That's a blazing duel with the Purify out. Brusco still able to get away to Dragon, but now it's Kirk isolated, dashing away. Fabian with a stun.
And that is Flavor Fave cooking, taking down Kirk.
A great brawl from Team Liquid ID from a pickoff. It started off by them going into the bottom lane, utilizing the macro advantage of the chip.
It was a pickoff that we didn't see. We only saw the aftermath. So one could assume Kelra was blind to the crash course shortcut combo. The witty party he wasn't seeing, wasn't expecting, caught him off and led to that turtle going over to Team Liquid ID. Last turtle of the game. So this is a turtle advantage for Liquid ID. So far, so good. Brawling, paying off.
Denying the witty party is just so difficult right now for Kelra, right? Every time you say no to it, but then he just comes crashing.
You have to be able to what? That's why maybe he invested in these cooldown boots to be able to throw those Rhapsodies, check in, because I'll tell you now, Brusco can't check every bush. Friends can't just throw his skills at every bush.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy a go for Kelra here. He suffered his first death in the whole series, and Liquid is 1,000 gold ahead. They push top lane, they push bottom lane. I think the players just keep going faster.
Whoa.
Go faster. 6.9k now on Aaron Shiki. So
exactly.
he's on top of the gold rankings here. Built his Trinity already.
Really quick. 8 minutes and 40 seconds on the 3-item power spike. So he's been farming really well. He's obviously gotten 2 kills and 2 assists too. Fabian, Brusco goes in. Great real world manipulation.
And nothing to call for because they zoned out the rest of Fnatic Onyx. Brusco down.
Aaron Shiki with the blazing duet. Fabian gets the kill, the stun, and the soul sever. Now Aaron able to bait out King Kong for a bit, but TLID, they saw 2 members down, Lord up in 9, we're gonna go for it.
Some cracks showing in Fnatic Onyx armor. The fact that they need to be in the right positions to be able to deal the right amount of damage was checked by Team Liquid ID, and now the map is turning blue, literally and figuratively, and the cavalry are galloping anywhere and everywhere they want. Look at how far off Witty is. And now the shortcut triggered in. Why walk? Scoring 1 for Flavor Fave.
Great neutral objective take from the young Stallions here. 2.4k gold lead, 8-7. As we get to a point where FNOP now will have to defend up against the Siege. So let's start talking about the Siege. Range-wise, Aaron is definitely going to be struggling without the Melphic gun at least. He's already building towards the Melphic gun. That will definitely help him in the Sieges. But Yehezkiel has to be the main key for the Sieges, right?
Yeah.
And even Witty, there's no full initiation with the Hilda and the chip.
That's right. The Ghost and the Wise have been instrumental. They have been impactful to put Fnatic Onyx into a corner like this. The way Yehezkiel uses the RWM zones out the perfect kill box for Fnatic Onyx. Witty catches off guard those cores and forces things like this because they know that Witty could be anywhere. They actually saw Witty last in the bottom lane, and they actually set up a nice slow push down there. So Fnatic Onyx, they can't respond.
They're going to let the bottom lane push in just with the minions. Kelra going to be sent down below to deal with it. Aran still in the bush screening and looking for FNOP. Knowing the positions, they send Fabian, the Usurper, into the mid lane. Flavor Fave getting tier 1 down. Now it's tier 2s on the board. Super Friends still up top to try to defend. Brusco, Jeet Kundo. Not used to go in. It's just a bit of a bait, a bit of a threat over. Yehezkiel losing a bit of HP. Melphic gun for Aaron. That'll definitely help in the Siege. 2 tier 2s already, and they're looking at the last one up top.
Fnatic Onyx, very defensive positioning, very defensive maneuvers. Even Aran able to check him. These bushes are now lethal for Fnatic Onyx PH. Something tells me this next Lord might be their next attempt at regaining control of this game. 11.5 minutes, so when this Lord spawns, it will be enhanced. It's the kind of Lord that jumps. So if Fnatic Onyx can put themselves in a position where King Kong and Kirk can get into the face of Yehezkiel, get into the face of Aaron, then we're cooking. But right now, Liquid clearly in the lead, clearly in control.
They're definitely trying their best as well to utilize this lead to get as much tempo on the map. Again, FNOP, they're doing a good job too at retaliating, I would say, to the tempo of TLID. They know that Witty could be anywhere, like you said, so they're grouping up as much as possible, letting King Kong open up, Brusco too, and playing it really safe for Kelra and Fritz.
Yeah, all the more these battle spells matter for Fnatic. Those battle spells, each one equaling to a kill, each one equaling to a trade that they can watch out for. 30 more seconds. Super Prince using the Feathered Airstrike to check in, spots that River Brush. There's two in there at least. Aran and Fabian kicking out the Usurper. Fnatic Onyx can't cross the river, man. That's how dangerous it is.
It's very dangerous with a chip. And by the way, this is Revitalized chip, right? So again, the tankiness that you kind of lost with the nerfs, you get back with the Revitalize a bit, not all of it, right? Sustain, Aaron knows Bruce goes there, BMI's back, and Lord now won't be spawning in the game. This is the second Lord of the game, this time enhanced in the 12th minute. King Kong trying to get back control of the Lord, trying to reset it away from TLID, because TLID have some really good setup.
It's a Filipino special, setting up for the dance. How does Fnatic quell this engagement? Because even without a flicker, the engage on Witty and his shortcut is real. The threat, the fight begins!
Wait, the Dragon over to Aran, pops in Revitalized, Blazing Wind coming down as well from Aaron Chiki earlier. Kelra getting rid of him. Appraiser's Wrath used up already. It's a 1-for-1. Brusco for Aran. Now both teams will reset the Lord. Not going to be taken, no commitment just yet, but it is very low.
Ooh, Lord down to 1/10 of its health. King Kong and Fabian coming through!
That's Anana almost got him. Aaron Shiki on it. King Kong gonna be melted down by Aaron Shiki. Now it's Kelra with the Rhapsody onto it. Fabian, Soul Sever, and the Retribution to secure the enhanced Lord. And Team Liquid, they tangoed to the winning team fight.
From endless nights of ranked game grinding to the upper bracket finals, Fabian and the untouchable Aaron Shiki tag team Fnatic Onyx for that second Lord here. 14 minutes in, all the lanes are slowly gonna turn blue. Ooh. 10 seconds from now, that evolved Lord will march on through the bottom lane. How does Fnatic Onyx defend here? It looks like Liquid are just the right amount of aggressive to force Fnatic Onyx to pop their ults, their battle spells early, but wait, now that I mention it, Fnatic didn't spend any. I think part of them knew they weren't going to get that Lord.
No, I think it's just back on cooldown here, because Aran used it already as well in the fight, so they just had more Revitalizers. Both of them popped in their Revitalize. It's 2 against 1, technically, for the Revitalize, so sustained battle. TLID have been able to take in the poke from Kelra, from Prince, utilize it to Revitalize to get out. Ooh, Kurt almost picked up by Mr. Fabian there. Luckily, no more members around to capitalize on that damage. But take a look at how TLID are managing the waves. They're actually going to slow push bottom lane, shoving all of it, and then they're going to have a 1.5 wave, I would say, in the bottom lane together with the next mid and top wave.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
Oy.
no doubt. Bottom lane's going to get popped here. Aaron Shiki, great use of his kit, spacing through Fnatic Onyx. Lord's going to crash in, taking out that inhibitor.
Okay, base turret number 1 taken down. Yehezkiel low, and you can see why he's playing it so safe right now. He knows it's very easy for Super Prince to poke him, to maybe even execute him, if he stays in range of the Death Sonata and the Feather Airstrike. So he'll just come in very late. Kirk, Consecration used up. There we go, and that's a Death Sonata over to Yehezkiel. Threading the needle, Kelra. And this might force TLID to go back. Meanwhile, Brusco scheming in the flanks.
Looking for an angle. I guess he was just out there cutting. That's what happened in mid lane there. So Brusco doing a bit of work. He knows that it's not the time to fight. He knows that it's not in Fnatic Onyx's best interest to start fighting, because Yehezkiel is a menace. Look at this, 70,000 dealt in a 15-minute game. How do they find him? I'm looking at it now. Fnatic Onyx do not have the resources to just burst down a single Eve.
It's all the consistent damage, I would say, right? It's DPS, slowly but surely poking your opponents. And though I would say when it comes to the range battle, Prince should have an advantage, it's just burst. You use the Feather Airstrike, it's going to be a long cooldown on it. Meanwhile, for Yehezkiel, it's constant Void Blast, constant slows, the glowing wand procs over and over again.
Even the Crystal can check where Brusco is.
Yeah.
And once Brusco finds you, you see a shadow of a Cho, you flicker away in the other direction, drop your ult.
Exactly.
And that's what Team Liquid has been doing in the past 15 minutes. Lord spawns lower quarter here. Luckily for Fnatic Onyx, that is where the damage has been dealt. That is where they got penetrated.
Ooh.
And it looks like they might go for a play. Look at this blitz by TLID. Brusco going in.
Oh, real room inflation used up already. Weedy in the flanks right now. Goes in for the conceal as well. King Kong going to be able to spot him as Kirk goes in for the chase. Aran so zoning him away. TLID will decide to back away. That's a Feather Airstrike over Aran. Aran Shiki diving in with a nature of Kelra.
He does commit with the ult. That resets the Lord. Now Weedy goes in with a shortcut.
Fabian's still there. Revitalized for a Witty. Some health bars already very low for FNOP. Kirk taking a lot of damage again. Kelra, Kirk, and Brusco are all a quarter of his HP. Brusco jumps in. Fabian claims the Lord. That's an immortality. Already popped already. And Brusco will be slain. That's a killing spree for both Fabian and Aaron Shiki. Kelra kiting away. Slowed down with the Wishing Lantern by Yehezkiel.
There's no need for more from Liquid ID. It was a revitalize that Weedy did. Everyone was already in range. The shortcut slowly becoming overkill for Liquid. Approaching the 10k gold lead, Aaron Shiki selling his Wind of Nature, now picking up a winner crown. It was the right amount of firepower. One would say maybe it was too early, but it was enough to put down Brusco and Kirk low enough. Now the Fnatic Onyx missing their front line. King Kong can't do this alone.
Oh, look at the poke with the arrow, the shortcut coming down. Real manipulation in towards the stun. Blazing duet from Aaron Shiki. The base is wide open and they go for it right now. It is Team Liquid ID who gets the equalization 1-1 in a best of 5.
Now we have a ball game. The champions of MPLID swing back. Now Fnatic Onyx have to respect the fact that game 1 was perfect, yes, but this series just got started.
It looked like with game 1, there were levels apart. Game 2, Liquid ID looked up top, climbed back and dragged FNOP to their level. And now it's 1-1. They're both on equal footing.
What is the lack of damage profile to the perfect approach? Let's talk about how they perfected that approach with their analysts. LaFell, what you got?
Thank you very much. A lot to dive in for me, especially when it comes to the itemization for this game, because honestly, the draft coming in from TLID, the draft itself is impressive, but more about them understanding where their strengths really lie and playing around it. They know that they can win a lot of the early fights, so they force it. And I gotta say, it's quite a risk using that kind of strategy. But I feel like this time they picked their fights a little bit better compared to game number 1.
Yeah, they didn't start before the 2-minute mark.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was the same kind of thing they were trying to bring in game 1, but it backfired. So it shows even more that they learned from their mistakes, but also we're not going to let that completely make us stop using this strategy of we want to force fights early on, we want to try to win early.
So a few things that I want to point out here. First of all, I want to look at the Granger, where he sold his boots. But this is an interesting interaction when you're using cooldown. The thing about Granger's passive is that he changed 1% cooldown reduction into 2 physical. So he went for more damage going for cooldown boots so that he instantly has 20 physical attack to lane against Aaron Shiki. But the fact that Aaron Shiki is still able to survive is impressive. And the other item that I want to look at is the Ghost of Jakarta, Yehezkiel. The second item went for that Wishing Lantern to fight against the Fredrin, because Fredrin's natural enemy is the Eve. Having that glowing wand and Wishing Lantern make it so that King Kong can't really move in front, especially when one of King Kong's items, I believe the second item, was that Guardian Helmet. The more HP he has, the more damage that he takes from Yehezkiel.
Yeah, and Yehezkiel, some great positioning with the RWM, just able to control majority of these objectives, and then also Witty on this chip to be able to have that element of surprise for those shortcuts was huge, right? We didn't get to see the same game for Brusco on the side of FNOP like we did in game number 1, where he was the opportunity creator. He was the setter. But this time, TLID was able to find a way, a crack through Fnatic Onyx.
Yeah, I mean, even Aaron Shiki, the Claude pick in the draft. Normally, we haven't been crazy about the Claude. Claude hasn't been doing too well, but it was a beautiful answer along with the Hezkill to these tanky frontliners where you're doing damage per health, right? You're doing chip damage based on health, and it works out perfectly. And even throwing in the, I think the pick on that, Kirk, picking up this Uranus may have been a slight mishap when going against what you're seeing your enemies already having.
You know what's great about Aaron Shiki picking up the Claude and then winning with it is the fact that he shows that he has range. It's not just burst heroes like the Bruno and the Granger. He can play this attack speed heroes, high mobility heroes, and I gotta say, Aaron Shiki is really showing up as one of the best gold laners here in M6.
Yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and yeah, like you said, a deep hero pool showcasing this Claude and really performing on it well. Look at the damage from Ezekiel. 90k on this Eve. Usually you see it for the utility, but this time those bombs are raining heavy.
I mean, just in general, this whole composition from TLID shows range, right? Because they don't have that burst damage, essentially, which means their fights have to be very drawn out. They need to layer their skills very well. They need to be ready to do turnarounds. They need to be ready to back off, re-engage, back off, re-engage. And they did that with ease almost, and we haven't really seen that side of them. It has normally been, I mean, many teams, it's been burst damage. It's been, we're trying to clean up fights quickly, and TLID took a lot of these fights with time. Even that last Lord fight, they were able to kind of back off a bit. Aaron Shiki goes for the big blazing duet and then comes back to Lord, and then as Kirk tries to re-engage, TLID does the turnaround, gets the Lord anyways, takes out Brusco. I mean, they did it all very cleanly with a lot of distance in each fight.
And now it's time to look at our MVP, the untouchable Aaron Shiki, using that Claude. He goes in and out of fights, and he doesn't get punished for it because he knows his timings. And I gotta say, so far Claude hasn't been doing that a lot of damage, but Aaron Shiki is making that Prime skin look good.
Now you see me, now you don't, was the story for Aaron Shiki on this Claude. Just able to get in at a moment's notice with the blazing duet and able to go back to safety with little to no punish from the side of Fnatic Onic. Now, this is a statement, right? Team Liquid, they're letting the world know, hey, game number 1 was a mishap. It's not gonna happen again. We're here to play ball. And now they found the equalizer. Yeah, I mean, and I think Aaron Shiki, do we think he is like him right now, you know? Do we think like he's the fact that he just pulled out the Claude, he's pulled a number over Kelra now, you know, like, and after this match, is it the decider on like, okay, Aaron Shiki is the new real rookie we're all keeping our eyes on, which I think we've already had our eyes on him, but does this kind of start to really cement that?
I feel like this is the start of it because laning against Kelra is one thing, but then he went up against the full force of Fnatic Onic Philippines and he's able to dish out the damage. We're gonna look at the highlights here and look at how the fight goes. I like that Weedy used the shortcut to the back and then the whole team just respond. Like, the communication that the TLID has when it comes to the team fights makes it very scary. The fact that Ezekiel was able to get out of that kick as well, like, the mechanics on TLID is spectacular.
Yeah, it's like the hive mentality, right? Moving as a sound unit. Everybody as a collective ready to engage and disengage at a moment's notice, and it showcases through these neutral objective plays. You see that RWM drop down, you see the whole team of Team Liquid ready to fight it out, ready to get that retribution, and yeah, just gave Fnatic Onic a really hard time on majority of these objectives. They didn't even take a single Lord from Team Liquid.
They played around, they honestly played around those Lords perfectly, especially with the composition they had. Aaron Shiki constantly kind of moving back and forth, looking for the engage, getting back onto Lord to get life back, the whole 9 yards. Another thing to point out is, you know, the other night we were talking about whether Claude